The 2023 Q4 Online Corporate Investor Conference of Oneness Biotech Company, Limited has officially begun. Today, I am very pleased to welcome all the distinguished guests and all the advanced investors to participate in this Oneness Biotech report to shareholders. First of all, I would like to introduce to you the Oneness management team. President, Zheng Zhihui. Vice President of R&D for New Antibody Medicine, Chen Yanni. Vice President of the Business Department, Zheng Yongqi. Director of Medical Affairs, Chen Ruiqing. Senior Manager of the Finance Department, Xu Wenxi. First of all, I'd like to invite the President to give a speech.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Today is the fourth investor conference of Oneness Biotech in 2023, and the management team would like to report to shareholders on the progress of the research and development of Oneness Biotech pipelines, as well as important issues that shareholders concern, hoping to let shareholders better understand Oneness Biotech. First of all, I would like to report to you that with the very valuable efforts of our team, the new drug for diabetic foot ulcer Efficacy was officially approved in China on November 9 this year, which is also the first Class 1.1 natural new drug approved in accordance with the requirements of modern medicine in China, and the only approved new medicine specific for diabetic foot ulcer. In the review process of more than 3 years, the team has encountered unprecedented resistance several times, even if sufficient clinical data and documents have been provided. Reviewers for new drug applications in China bear a lifetime responsibility for their decisions. Considering the fact that Efficacy is the first innovative new drug in the natural new drug class, and that there have been very few innovative drug applications for wound care in the past, the reviewers were bearing almost 100% of the risks in the drug approval process, and therefore required a longer time for reviewing. We would like to express our respect and gratitude to the Chinese regulatory authorities for finally recognizing Efficacy, and we praise the perseverance and determination of the Oneness team. In this lengthy review process, we are also aware of the influence of rumors in the stock market. Some people deliberately led trends on the internet, slandering and questioning the integrity of Oneness, and puncturing shareholders' confidence. Those who seek illegal interests leave traces, and we will collect evidence one by one in accordance with the law, and investigate the criminal responsibilities for violating the Securities and Exchange Act. The firm will of Oneness is not only manifested in the perseverance of developing new medicines, but we will also not ignore the legitimate rights and interests of the majority of Oneness shareholders. The drug approval in China is a major watershed for Oneness operation, which has been focusing on the research and development of new medicine for 15 years since its establishment, and has not yet been able to create strong revenue. Based on the 21,000 diabetic foot ulcer patients reported by Taiwan each year, compared with the 8.3 million patients in the mainland, the market size difference is 395 times. The drug approval in China represents that Oneness has officially stepped into the commercial stage from the R&D stage, and the global market puzzle of $10 billion planned by Oneness will be realized piece by piece with the professional, dedicated, persevering, and unremitting efforts of the Oneness team. Farewell to the Year of Rabbit. 2024 will be the first year of Oneness commercial stage. Not only the sales of Efficacy are to be officially kicked off, the wound care medical device Bonvadis also took advantage of its product characteristics and began the second stage of application for chronic wound indications. The puzzle of Oneness in the global wound care market will be completed piece by piece. Oneness will not give up on any opportunities that can create revenue. Now the negotiations for regional authorization or distribution contracts are actively and comprehensively underway. The goal of Oneness is very clear: if we want to win, we want to win big. The new year is coming. I wish you all a happy and prosperous new year. Thank you.
Thank you, President Zheng. Please explain next the financial report.
Thank you. This is a disclaimer for this legal conference. Please refer to it. Next, I will present the financial report for the third quarter of 2023. First of all, we will reveal important financial figures and explain changes compared to the financial report of the third quarter of 2023. The revenue was NT$19,029,000, an increase of NT dollar 5,176,000 compared to the same period last year. R&D expenditure was NT dollar 234,285,000, a decrease of NT dollar 26,917,000 from the same period last year. The loss for the quarter was NT dollar 225,677,000, a change of NT dollar 502,182,000 from the same period last year. In terms of assets and liabilities, as of September 30th this year, total assets amounted to NT dollar 15,286,467,000, a decrease of NT dollar 992,188,000 from September 30 last year. Total liabilities amounted to NT dollar 631,479,000, a decrease of NT dollar 13,181,000 from 30 September last year. Shareholders' equity was NT dollar 14,654,988,000, a decrease of NT dollar 979,007,000 from September 30 last year. A detailed explanation of the changes will be reported to shareholders later. Based on the closing price of Oneness shares on December 26, 2023, at NT dollar 197 per share, the market value is about NT dollar 89.3 billion. Next is the concise income statement. The loss per share in the third quarter of this year was NT dollar 0.5, and the earnings per share in the third quarter of last year were NT dollar 0.62. The loss in the third quarter of this year was NT dollar 225,677,000, and the net profit after tax in the third quarter of last year was NT dollar 276,505,000. Compared with the same period last year, the main reasons for the changes are as follows. The operating revenue, costs, gross profit, sales expenses and administrative expenses in the operating expenses were not significantly different from the same period last year. The main expenditure was R&D expenditure, and the R&D expenditure in the third quarter of this year was NT dollar 234,285,000, which was mainly used for a number of international clinical trials for new drugs, including Phase 3, Phase 2, Phase 1, preclinical trials and other expenditures. R&D expenses accounted for 84.9% of operating expenses in the third quarter. Net non-operating expenses were NT dollar 45,111,000, compared with NT dollar 580,929,000 in the same period last year. There is a change of NT dollar 535,818,000, of which includes 1. In the third quarter of 2023, foreign currency assets were evaluated, recognizing a net unrealized exchange gain of NT dollar 195,606,000. Compared with NT dollar 365,102,000 in the same period last year, there is a decrease of NT dollar 169,496,000. 2. In the third quarter of 2023, a net investment loss of NT dollar 230,632,000 was recognized based on the shareholding ratio, compared with a net investment gain of NT dollar 204,420,000 in the same period last year. There is a change of NT dollar 435,052,000. 3. Interest income from bank deposits in the third quarter of 2023 was NT dollar 74,584,000, compared with NT dollar 9,755,000 in the same period last year. There is an increase of NT dollar 64,829,000. Above is a description of the income statement for the third quarter. Next is the report on the condensed balance sheet. The total assets as of September 30 this year were NT dollar 15,286,467,000, and the significant changes in assets, liabilities and equity in the current quarter are explained as follows. The first item is cash, financial assets, current, with NT dollar 7,980,134,000. The decrease from the previous quarter was mainly due to 1. Recognition of a net foreign exchange gain of NT dollar 195,606,000. 2. Through other comprehensive income, Financial assets listed stocks measured at fair value recorded a loss of $330,262,000 for the current period based on market valuation. 3. Other changes in net cash from operating activities. The second item is financial assets, investments non-current, with $3,879,463,000. The increase from the previous quarter was mainly due to 1. Investments using the equity method are recognized as unrealized losses of $230,632,000 based on the proportion of shareholdings. 2. Other comprehensive losses of $40,322,000. 3. Recognition of Diamond Biofund's change in capital surplus of $470,533,000 due to the relinquishment of subscription rights in its public offering. 4. Receiving a cash dividend of $20,237,000 from Diamond Biofund. The third item is capital surplus, $9,002,886,000. The increase from the previous quarter was mainly due to, as mentioned above, the equity method of the affiliated company, Diamond Biofund, resulted in a change in net equity value due to its listing and publicly underwritten of the abandonment of stock subscriptions. The fourth item is accumulated loss $780,590,000. The reason for the change was explained in the condensed income statement. The fifth item is the unrealized profit or loss of financial assets at fair value measured through other comprehensive gains and losses of $1,465,863,000. The decrease from the previous quarter was mainly due to 1. Equity instruments at fair value through other comprehensive unrealized valuation gains and losses of $327,432,000. 2. The share of other comprehensive gains and losses of related enterprises recognized by the equity method was $67,445,000. The above is a description of items that have changed significantly from the last quarter in the balance sheet. Note 1 to the financial statements is a summary of the explanation of the profit and loss and is available as a reference for shareholders who are unable to attend the online conference. Note 2 to the financial statements shows the significant financial ratios of Oneness Biotech for the third quarter of 2023, including current ratio 5,799.63%, quick ratio 5,694.85%, liabilities to total assets ratio 4.13%. Please also refer to point 4 for the explanation for changes in major items. The above is the financial report of Oneness Biotech. Thank you.
Next, the operational progress will be reported to everyone by Jingyong Qi, Vice President of the Business Department.
Next, I would like to report to you on the business outlook of Oneness Biotech. 2024 is a very critical year for Oneness Biotech and shareholders. 2024 can be considered the year of Fespixin. In 2024, Oneness Biotech will officially enter the commercial stage from the R&D stage. In particular, the following milestones are included. 1. Entry into one of the global key markets. The new drug Fespixin has been approved for marketing in China. 2. In addition, we are also accelerating market access globally through application for medical device clearance for chronic wounds. 3. After launching for 2.5 years in Taiwan, we have collected valuable real-world data to establish clinical evidence for Fespixin. This will highly benefit the expansion of our business in both domestic and international markets. Everyone knows that cancer is among the top 10 causes of death in Taiwan, but the severity of chronic wounds is often overlooked. In particular, mortality from amputation due to diabetic foot ulcers is no less than cancer. According to a recent article published in an international medical journal, wound healing and cancer progression have similar pathological conditions, which is why cancer tumors are called non-healing wounds. But as we all know, since 1997, the FDA has approved more than 250 new cancer drugs. However, in the past 25 years, only one DFU treatment product has been approved, Regranex, a drug containing growth factors. However, growth factors are not the primary basis for chronic wound reconstruction, meaning that chronic wounds represent a huge unmet medical need until Fespixin is available. Why are there so many cancer medicines and so few wound healing therapies? The root causes are: it is always easier to destroy than to rebuild human cells and tissues. In contrast to cancer drugs that act as destroyers, wound healing drugs must play the role of builders. However, unlike cancer drug targets, there is no single known factor that can repair chronic wounds. Now, after 15 years, Oneness Biotech has finally successfully developed Fespixin, becoming the world's first drug that effectively enables rapid wound healing by modulating macrophages and changing the wound environment to promote tissue repair. We believe that the innovative drug Fespixin will be a game changer for wound treatment around the world. In June 2021, Fespixin was launched in Taiwan. We rejected the invitation to cooperate from a number of international pharmaceutical distributors and decided to set up our own marketing team, mainly to obtain post-market real-world data, to complete a number of studies on post-market clinical efficacy and other indications. These are all for the purpose of establishing scientific product support based on important scientific and clinical data for the expansion into international market. The pharmaceutical market in Taiwan accounts for only 0.4% of the global pharmaceutical market. Moreover, the market entry barriers for global innovative medicines are extremely high, requiring a lengthy process of health insurance pricing applications, hospital procurement, and negotiation. Therefore, Taiwan is considered one of the unfriendly markets. Simultaneously, these barriers also reduce the opportunities for patients to receive innovative medicine treatments. Therefore, the profit opportunities for globally innovative medicines developed in Taiwan are minimal, which is quite regrettable. Based on an official estimate of 21,000 DFU patients per year, the utilization rate of self-pay patients in 2023 has reached 9.5% of the applicable groups. Since its launch, it has benefited thousands of patients with diabetic foot ulcers, which is a great contribution provided by Fespixin to patients in Taiwan. In addition, based on the medication recommendations and usage by clinical physicians, Fespixin has demonstrated excellent efficacy in other difficult-to-heal chronic wounds and acute wounds. These clinical evidences are sufficient to prove that Fespixin is a breakthrough innovative medicine. Fespixin's post-market treatment experiences in Taiwan have been presented in 16 presentations or posters at important international wound care conferences and forums. This year, Fespixin was even praised by foreign medical media as a game changer for wound treatment, which echoes Fespixin as a breakthrough innovative drug. After launching in Taiwan, drug approval applications were submitted in 2021 in Singapore, Malaysia, Indonesia, the Philippines, Vietnam, and other countries. At present, drug approval has been obtained in Singapore, Malaysia, and China. Based on the characteristics of the product, the global medical device application for market approval has been submitted simultaneously, and approval was obtained in the United States, the European Union, India, New Zealand, South Africa, and other countries. At the same time, Oneness Biotech also continues to propose the second phase of the global marketing plan for chronic wounds, aiming to be launched globally in 2024 to 2025. We are also conducting exploratory clinical trials in collaboration with medical leaders in the United States, Egypt, Malaysia, and India, to verify the significant efficacy of our new drug and medical device in the treatment of diabetic foot ulcers and other acute and chronic wounds. Here, I want to make a special point. Entering the market via the medical device pathway allows us to target all indications for wound care, including diabetic foot ulcers, venous leg ulcers, bed sores, and burns, and accelerate market entry. If all of the markets would be entered via the new drug pathway, we would need to additionally complete 1 to 2 large-scale phase 3 clinical trials for each indication and subsequently go through lengthy regulatory review processes. This must be considered in the global market entry strategy. Therefore, the dual strategy with pharmaceuticals and medical device routes has advanced the market access time for Oneness Global innovative wound treatment products by at least 5 years. It is estimated that it will save more than $300 million in R&D expenditure, and will also create a huge business opportunity for the company in the global wound market over the next 20 years. For our global sales strategy, we will adopt a licensing or sales distribution model in markets outside of Taiwan. Although there are continuous procurement inquiries from hospitals, clinics, and pharmacies in Singapore and Central Asia, For markets where contract negotiations are underway, we do not accept retail transactions in local markets for the sake of a complete sales layout. Singapore and Malaysia are regarded as one market, and like for China, we have conducted multiple rounds of contract negotiations. However, Fespixin is a global innovative drug. Its biggest advantage is that its efficacy is unparalleled, and at the same time it meets the unmet needs of patients. Global market development requires a comprehensive marketing strategy in addition to rapid market access. Therefore, we will carefully evaluate partners before signing contracts that meets the expected price and volume. Negotiation of commercial licensing in the international market requires patience, and contract signing especially should be done cautiously. Because this is closely related to our business development and the huge revenue that Fespixin can bring in the next 10-20 years. Only in this way can we meet the expectations of investors and maximize the return on investment of shareholders. With regards to the China market, Fespixin obtained China's first Class 1.1 natural new drug approval in November after more than 3 years of review. It is also the first new drug specific for diabetic foot ulcers in China, and marks an important milestone in the development of new drugs. Such an achievement from Oneness Biotech is truly valuable. There are more than 8.3 million people with diabetes foot ulcer disease in China, 395 times the number of patients in Taiwan. Due to the lack of effective treatment drugs, the number of people who need amputation is as high as 1.5 million people every year. China is an important target market for the global layout of Fespixin, therefore, the entry into the Chinese market marks a key step for Oneness to establish a global presence. Adhering to our global sales strategy, although collaboration negotiations with a number of large national pharmaceutical companies are undergoing. Due to the great size and potential of the China market, we will continue to evaluate partners and decide on the most suitable partners as soon as possible for a smooth and successful launch of Fespixin in China, ensuring a promising long-term development of the Fespixin market in China. The second stage of the application for chronic wound indications under the medical device route in the United States has entered the supplementary document submission phase, which is part of the regular review procedure. In the U.S. market, we also continue to conduct medical device sales authorization and distribution negotiations, and simultaneously implementing a product testing program for chronic wounds with medical key opinion leaders. These efforts are all aimed at accumulating clinical experience from U.S. physicians, thereby establishing robust clinical evidence for future marketing. In the EU market, the second stage application for chronic wound indications for medical devices will also be submitted next year. After obtaining market access for chronic wound indications, sales authorization and distribution negotiations will be carried out. Our goal is to enter the major acute and chronic wound care markets globally by 2025. Here are the markets where first-stage medical device clearance application has been submitted or obtained. The indications for the first-stage application are general wounds and scars. Countries that have obtained clearance include the United States, India, New Zealand, the EU, and South Africa. Countries in which application has been submitted include Pakistan, Egypt, Thailand, and Saudi Arabia, in which the application was filed this month. The indications for the second stage application is chronic wounds. The markets where second stage application is currently undergoing are: applications submitted in the United States, application in preparation, the EU, Turkey, Canada, Brazil, and Australia. In addition, countries where applications will be submitted following the second stage medical device clearance in the US include Argentina, Chile, Mexico, Colombia, Nigeria, Bangladesh, and the United Arab Emirates. Lastly, I would like to point out, the global business strategy is very important to the launching of new drugs, and also related to market competition, so Oneness will no longer disclose the market access and sales progresses. The business team will do its best to accelerate the business development, help the company create revenue, and help shareholders create benefits. We kindly ask for the patience from our shareholders, and trust and confidence in Oneness and in Fespixin. The above is the operational report. Next, the major new drug research and development will be reported by Vice President Chen Nianyi.
Thank you. In the following, I will report on the R&D progress of our major pipelines. The research and development projects include the development of FB825 anti-Sem-X monoclonal antibody new drug for atopic dermatitis and allergic asthma, the development of FB704A anti-interleukin-6 monoclonal antibody new drug for severe asthma and chronic kidney disease with a risk of cardiovascular disease, and the research and development of SNS812 small nucleic acid RNA as a broad-spectrum novel medicine for COVID-19 and influenza. First of all, I would like to report to you the progress of the research and development of FB825. FB825 targets the indication atopic dermatitis, which represents a continuously growing market. The etiology of atopic dermatitis is very complex, and each patient has different responses to different treatments and therapeutics. Therefore, choosing the right medication is crucial for achieving good treatment results. For atopic dermatitis with complex etiology, medicines with a unique mechanism of action key to the disease can stand out from currently existing drugs and secure a place in the market. FB825 has such a unique mechanism and market potential. This figure is taken from Nature Review in Drug Discovery, which summarizes the causes and key mechanisms of atopic dermatitis, AD. At present, there are two major pathways known to cause AD, as shown in the figure. First is the stimulation from foreign allergens marked in green at the top, and second is genetic causes, marked in blue at the bottom. Starting from the top, the allergens in the environment enter the human body, induce the first line of defense of the human body, the defense mechanism of passive immunity, and trigger allergic reactions. Continuous exposure to allergens, such as pollen, pet dander, and various kinds of foods, causes allergic reactions. This leads to itching and excessive scratching, resulting in skin breakage. The repeated cycles of itching and scratching subsequently leads to more severe allergic reactions, finally resulting in atopic dermatitis. On the other hand, some patients are genetically predisposed to allergic reactions, either due to genetic inheritance or mutations, which can lead to recurrent allergies, and in turn changes in the skin microbiome, worsening the allergic reaction and resulting in atopic dermatitis. Whether caused by allergens or genetic factors, the core of AD pathogenesis is shown here in the middle orange section, the type 2 allergic reaction, the key of which is IgE sensitization to allergens. FB825 is aimed specifically at the source of IgE, at IgE B cells, blocking this key reaction. As the disease progresses, it enters the third stage of AD, that is, the red part on the right. The foreign allergen or the gene causing hypersensitivity will finally result in IgEs that target the host's own proteins, which worsens the disease, and can ultimately lead to long-term chronic allergic diseases such as food allergies, asthma, allergic rhinitis, etc. FB825 can also block this critical step, and has the potential to disrupt the disease development process and treat allergies once and for all. In order to quickly fight foreign allergens, the human body has a memory system to remember the allergens that it has experienced. Scientific research has shown that allergic IgE memory is mainly based on IgE B cells, but other types of antibodies can also preserve IgE memory, among which the IgE B cells are the majority. When the allergen enters the body for the second time, these immune memory cells can respond quickly, which is why allergies often come quickly and urgently. For example, for people who are allergic to cat hair, allergy symptoms can be reduced after stopping contact with the allergen and a period of treatment. However, once they come to a friend's house with a cat, they will have an allergic reaction in a very short time, such as skin rash or continued sneezing, etc. This is due to the memory cells triggering the immune response rapidly. This figure on the right shows the complex pathway of how the immune response is awakened, and the red circles marks the role of IgE B cells in this pathway. FB825 can accurately remove this type of cells, both during the first immune response and later immune responses mediated by memory B cells. This way the immune system cannot further produce IgE plasma cells, the production of allergic IgE will be reduced, allergic reactions slow down, achieving the goal of controlling allergic diseases. FB825 clears IgE B cells and blocks the immune memory arousal pathway, so that immune memory cannot produce new IgE secreting cells, thereby alleviating allergic reactions. This demonstrates the ability of FB825 to reshape immune memory. When the immune memory is reset, patients could potentially be able to have a healthy life without allergies, and in this way FB825 could fundamentally change the course of atopic dermatitis. This is one of the great advantages of FB825. Compared with current treatments for atopic dermatitis in the international market, FB825 demonstrates its competitiveness through its great efficacy, low administration frequency, and high safety. As shown in the figure on the right, the efficacy of FB825 alone in the target group was not inferior to current blockbuster medicines on the market. In terms of cost-effectiveness, FB825 only needed to be administered once per month, which is only 4 injections during the 16-week trial period, while the blockbuster drugs need to be injected more frequently, once every 2 weeks, so a total of 9 injections are required over 16 weeks. Here, FB825 demonstrates its strength regarding cost-effectiveness. In real-world settings, doctors often use the drugs in combination with topical steroids to better control the disease. FB825 also showed similar efficacy in comparison with international blockbuster medicines, but it demonstrated again a unique advantage in its cost-effectiveness. When used in combination with topical steroid ointment, FB825 was administered once every 3 months, and a total of 2 injections were already sufficient to achieve the therapeutic effect comparable to that of the comparison drugs, where a total of 9 injections were required. In terms of safety, FB825 has also shown excellent safety because it accurately and specifically regulates IgE cells and does not target other components of the immune system. Unlike other medicines, which regulate a variety of cytokines or receptors involved in immune responses and thereby suppress also the body's immunity against foreign pathogens or its ability to fight cancerous cells, FB825 has shown excellent safety in clinical trials, without increasing the risk of adverse reactions such as conjunctivitis and infection, and is suitable for the long-term control of the chronic disease atopic dermatitis. In the face of international pharmaceutical competition, in addition to the previously mentioned advantages in efficacy, safety, and cost-effectiveness, we are also further developing and optimizing FB825 to confront global competition. First and foremost is the optimization of the dosage form to enhance product competitiveness and improve the convenience of use for physicians and patients, which is a key aspect of drug promotion. For chronic conditions such as atopic dermatitis that require long-term medication control, convenience is crucial. We have successfully developed a subcutaneous injection dosage form and completed bridging trials in human for subcutaneous injection, smoothly transitioning from the time-consuming and labor-intensive intravenous injection to the convenient and time-saving subcutaneous injection. In the future, when combined with an automatic injector, patients can safely administer the medication at home. After the conversion of the dosage form, the top priority is to validate the efficacy of the subcutaneous injection formulation. We aim to expedite the efficacy verification trials for subcutaneous injection in patients with atopic dermatitis (AD) in the shortest possible time. This will facilitate the progression to the next stage of clinical trials. The mechanism of action of a drug significantly impacts its life cycle. We will continue to deepen our research into the mechanism of action, positioning ourselves as one of the few companies specialized in IgE B-cell research globally. Our goal is to establish Oneness as the global leader in the IgE field. The IgE field is important but still not thoroughly researched, presenting an opportunity for groundbreaking discoveries through mechanism of action (MOA) research. There is a high likelihood of identifying new targets and treatment strategies, opening up new therapeutic markets for allergic diseases. Investing in MOA research not only provides a clearer understanding of FB825's mechanism of action and its impact on the immune system but also creates opportunities for exploring new indications. This, in turn, contributes to the further expansion of the drug's value. The subcutaneous and intravenous injection dosage form pharmacokinetic (PK) bridging trial conducted in the United States has successfully completed all subject follow-up visits in December 2023. Currently, we are in the process of specimen analysis and trial data organization, with an anticipated completion of the clinical study report (CSR) in Q1 of 2024. FB825 subcutaneous injection formulation demonstrates good safety, with safety performance comparable to the intravenous injection formulation. No severe adverse reactions were reported among the subjects, and only a few experienced mild adverse reactions at the injection site, all of which quickly resolved. The primary objective of the PK bridging trial was to obtain data on the subcutaneous injection formulation's bioavailability, crucial for planning subsequent trials. The bioavailability of FB825 subcutaneous injection is approximately 66%, similar to dupilumab and most subcutaneous antibody drugs. This supports the progression to the next stage of subcutaneous injection trials. After the completion of the PK bridging test, we began to plan the efficacy test of the subcutaneous injection dosage form in patients with atopic dermatitis and calculated the optimal dose and frequency of subcutaneous administration according to the data obtained from the PK bridging test. After completing the plan for the efficacy clinical trial of the subcutaneous injection dosage form in AD patients, we plan to carry out the trial with collaborators and recruit patients in multiple centers in both the US and Taiwan. Our goal is to obtain data for the efficacy of the subcutaneous injection formulation, in order to push forward subsequent milestones in its clinical development. Next, I will report on the current progress in the clinical trials for FB704A. The Phase 2A clinical trial of FB704A targets severe asthma with a high proportion of sputum neutrophil. We are planning to enroll 40 severe asthma patients with a high percentage of sputum neutrophils to validate the safety and efficacy of FB704A in severe asthma patients. Subjects will receive FB704A treatment for 2 months, followed by a 2-month safety follow-up observation period. So far, all subjects have shown good safety with no occurrence of severe adverse events. Enrollment is ongoing at 7 trial centers in the northern and central regions of Taiwan, and preparations for the addition of a trial center in Kaohsiung have commenced to expedite enrollment. In terms of the development progress of the second indication for FB704A, which is chronic kidney disease complicated by cardiovascular disease, the ongoing exploratory trial is planned to include 24 patients with high CRP levels and stage 3 to 5 chronic kidney disease. After 6 doses of FB704A, they will undergo safety follow-up for 2 months. The trial is currently enrolling according to the planned schedule. Subjects who have been enrolled and administered the medication have exhibited good safety profiles with no occurrence of severe adverse events. Additionally, preliminary observations indicate a reduction in the inflammation index. During the enrollment process, it was noted that the exclusion of many patients was due to discrepancies in hsCRP levels. Therefore, there is a plan to conduct a blood sample analysis specifically for chronic kidney disease patients to expedite the inclusion of the target population. In terms of SNS812 pan-COVID new drug research and development, the enrollment of the first subject for the Phase 2 clinical trial in Taiwan was completed in October 2023, and 11 clinics have begun operations in mid-November as part of our collaboration with the National Taiwan University. To expedite case enrollment, in addition to National Taiwan University Hospital, Taipei Medical University Hospital is being added as an enrollment center. Submission of required documents to the Institutional Review Board, IRB, and the Taiwan Food and Drug Administration, TFDA, has been completed. The plan is to commence case enrollment in the first quarter of 2024. The IRB application for a Phase 2 clinical trial in the United States was approved in December 2023, and case enrollment has been initiated. On December 8, 2023, the U.S. Centers for Disease Control announced that the new COVID-19 variant JN.1 was raging, and the number of hospitalized patients increased by 17% to 22,500 during the week. According to genetic data, the JN.1 variant is still within the effective range of SNS812. The figure on the right is the weekly statistics of COVID-19 hospitalizations released by the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. It shows that COVID-19 reached a peak of hospitalizations per week in January this year. Although the numbers gradually declined, there was a new wave of infections in September and a rise in hospitalizations again in December this year, indicating that the COVID-19 infection will not disappear. It will cause waves of epidemics, and the demand for treatment will always exist like with the flu. Due to the rapid mutation of the novel coronavirus, which is an RNA virus, the scientific community had predicted potential drug resistance issues with existing medications. Now, this issue is gradually emerging, and creates an opportunity for SNS812. International authoritative journals have reported extensively on the emergence of drug-resistant strains of Paxlovid, discovered by multiple research groups. These variant viruses may already exist in clinical specimens. Drug-resistant strains have been observed for antiviral drugs targeting different types of protease inhibitors. A Nature journal article also emphasized that overcoming drug resistance requires research on the next generation of inhibitors. This indicates also an opportunity for SNS812. SNS812 not only targets the current booming treatment market but also focuses on the long-term market in the post-pandemic era of coronaviruses. Coronaviruses pose a persistent threat to human health, with approximately 20% of common colds currently caused by coronaviruses. Mutant strains of coronaviruses have led to severe diseases, such as the 2002 SARS outbreak, the 2012 Middle East Respiratory Syndrome, MERS, and the 2019 global pandemic of COVID-19, which has resulted in at least 7 million deaths. As COVID-19 transitions into a more influenza-like pattern, the proportion of severe cases remains comparable to seasonal flu, and the potential for the next wave of a major outbreak is ever present. Therefore, we must be ready to combat this with new drugs. SNS-812 targets a gene region with minimal variation in the virus, as indicated by the red box in the diagram. This region is crucial for virus replication. In contrast, commonly used drugs for COVID-19, such as Paxlovid, target the green box region, while vaccines and therapeutic antibody drugs focus on the spike protein indicated by the blue box. These regions are mutation hotspots, and viral mutations often lead to reduced drug efficacy. SNS-812, by targeting low mutation areas, is expected to fundamentally address the threat of coronaviruses. Other ongoing clinical trials include the Phase 2 clinical trial of FB825 for moderate to severe allergic asthma and the Phase 1 clinical trial of the anti-cancer drug OB318. These are all underway according to plan. In terms of environmental, social, and governance (ESG) performance, Oneness has received recognition both domestically and internationally. In 2023, Oneness was included in the Dow Jones Sustainability Emerging Markets Index, received the Best Progress Award in the S&P Global 2023 Sustainability Yearbook, and was selected as a component stock in the FTSE4Good Index series. Oneness Biotech has been included in the Bloomberg Gender Equality Index for 2 consecutive years and has consistently ranked among the top 5% in the corporate governance evaluation for listed companies. Oneness Biotech commitment to sustainability, environmental protection, and corporate governance has received high praise worldwide. Finally, here are reminders for investment risks. Oneness's new drug is a global innovative drug, and high innovation is accompanied by high risk. Any R&D or trial may not turn out as expected. Oneness Biotech has done its best in various risk control and countermeasure planning, but investors must still be aware of risks. After successful launching of a new drug, it takes time to establish distribution and sales channels and gain widespread recognition for the drug. Oneness Biotech has the advantages of talents, capitals, technology, and innovation. Our new drug pipelines are robust and advancing. Nevertheless, profitability will begin after the company reaches the turning point, when the licensed drug achieves its subsequent milestones, the approved drug enters into global major markets, and when the rest of the pipeline continues to be out-licensed. That's all for today's report. Thank you.
Thank you very much for participating in this investor conference. Because of time constraints, today's conference will end here. Answers to investors' questions will be posted on Oneness website by tomorrow morning. After 15 years of hard work, Oneness has gradually reached the commercial stage from R&D. We look forward to satisfying business development globally in the year 2024. The next investor conference is scheduled at the end of March 2024. We wish all investors successful investments and a happy new year. Thank you.